Hello, everybody. I'm finally back with the video of the part four of the analysis of Lelouch. So, uh, just for starting, I would like to apologize because I made a mistake in the analysis video of that I just made right before this one, which is part three. Um, the mistake was right at the beginning of the video. It was I just want to fix a little. Was that Suzaku became Euphemia's personal knight right after the event of rescuing Colonel Todo, not after the fight with the Japanese army powered by the Chinese Federation. So that was the mistake I made. So I really apologize for that. I just want to fix that information. And next, I would like to uh, just share a little bit of let's see, share about the summary of season one, about what happened in season one a little bit. So now I would like to share my screen. Okay, right. So in season two, the events got a little more complicated now. So I will start sharing my paragraph analysis as well. So, as I have introduced when I start sharing about this anime, is that I have three parts of analysis in my sharing. The first is the table. The second one is the paragraph. And the third one is the picture. So because season one, it doesn't have that much to analyze yet. Everything is like the beginning. So that's the reason why I haven't used the paragraph analysis. But in season two, things got a little more complicated. So I definitely have to use the paragraph. But don't worry about it. I'm not gonna read all of the paragraphs. So let's see. So to sum up, so what happened in season one of Code Geass? So as you can see, in the first season of the series, Lelouch had transformed from being a helpless student into a powerful Geass user. And with the goals of destroying Britannia, fighting the reasons behind his mother's death, and creating a world for his sister to live happily, Lelouch started his plan with Clovis' death. So remember uh, the event, the Shinjuku incident, right? So Lelouch used a gun to kill Prince Clovis. And after that, he establish the Black Knights and strive to form an entity that would challenge the Britannian army and might later claim the independence for Japan. However, as you have seen during the end of the season one, is that Lelouch's main goal was to actually create a world where his sister can live happily, and it means that his sister was more important than the liberty of Japan, right? And during the fight, although he claimed that he had to dirty his hands to change the world, so he killed a lot of people, he used geese on a lot of people too, he still felt guilty and responsible for people's deaths. And yes, so that is also a very big theme, is that there's always goodness and evil that appeared in Lelouch. And also later on, after the death of Euphemia, he entered the point of no going back. resulting in him turning for the worse, like using people like tools or or prioritizing results over anything else. So So basically, there is a great price for using geese too much, and it kind of resulted in Lelouch power went out of control, and Euphemia had to die, and and especially Euphemia is a very nice person, but she ended up dying because of the geese. And at the end of the season, Lelouch left the Black Knights to look for his sister during the battle between the Black Knights and Britannia, which I think was kind of selfish of him since he wasn't just fighting alone anymore. He fought with a large army of people, right, with the Black Knights, and he also carried the hopes of many Japanese. That was when he had like a conflict of interest, right? So he uh, he started he started showing that he prioritized his sister's safety more than the Japanese. Um, and that is one of Lelouch's weaknesses, right? He still didn't know what's important, and I think during that moment he should have stayed with the Black Knights instead of leaving them for his sister. So Nunali wished for the world to be kind to her. So that's what Lelouch's sister wanted, a kinder world, but could that wish be carried out successfully by killing and using people? So in order to obtain a new peace, a new world, so how are we going to do that, right? So if it's Lelouch, he chose the path of using evil to fight a bigger evil, right? But will his sister agree with him in that? All right, so now I would like to turn on the table analysis. So the first event that happened started in like a year later. So Lelouch has lost his memory. So you remember the scene, right? The scene at when they when Suzuki and Lelouch met at Kamine Island. Yeah. So what happened was that they both shot at used gun. Lelouch had a gun and Suzaku had a gun, and they shot at each other. But Lelouch missed. He didn't manage to hurt Suzaku, and Suzaku just managed to shot to shot Lelouch at the hand that he was holding the gun. So Suzaku just disarmed Lelouch, and he managed to defeat and capture Zero. And what happened after that was that Suzaku kind of dragged Lelouch to the king. He dragged Lelouch to meet King Charles, and King Charles he deleted he deleted Lelouch's memory about his mother, his sister, and also about Zero. So those are the three things that disappeared in his memory, and he just lived like a normal student for like a year. So during that year, like lots of things probably change. So the I didn't mention it here, but also the people who rebel during the Black Rebellion, there are many people who also rebelled and also wanted to fight Britannia, right? And because Lelouch just left in the middle of the fight, I think the Black Knights and the rebellion kind of failed. So some of the people got captured, and those people they got um they got shot at like in public, and they were even showed on the news was that they got executed. And Britannia used used the excuse like this is not like killing or anything. This is difference. So basically, it is a little bit complicated to explain, but basically they just mask the nature of killing people with the reason that oh they are different, they are going against the system, and we kill them because of that. It's kind of like political kind of stuff. So the word kind of came back to kind of like the point of beginning, and there's some things change, so the relationship circle kind of stayed the same. Oh, I shouldn't put so when he lost his memory, he didn't remember his sister, uh, uh, but he still remember his friends at school. Oh, he didn't remember CC as well. Uh, let's see. So anybody who were related to the Black Knights, he would forget. So he would not remember the Black Knights. He wouldn't remember Dithar, Rakshata, Kaguya. So they are the people who were related to Zero, right? So if he forgot about Zero, he will forgot about all the people who were related to Zero. So the new thing is that we have Rolo. So who is Rolo? This kid is this kid. He is used by the Britannian system in order to pretend to be Lelouch's brother. So basically, his memory got erased, right? He forgot Nunali, and Rolo took the place of his sibling. Instead of instead of Lelouch having a sister, he had a brother, and that is Rolo, a fake brother, and Villetta. So Lelouch just he didn't remember Villetta was fighting against him, fighting against Zero, but now he knew that Villetta is his teacher. Yeah, so that's the difference in the relationship now. So basically, Lelouch is also surveillance. Also, Lelouch is also under surveillance at school, and Rolo and Villetta are two people that has they have the role to monitor Lelouch action at school. Hmm. But of course, he Lelouch feels like something is not normal, right? He still feels like society has still has some kind of problems that he cannot feel relaxed at all. He feels like something is missing, right? And and Lelouch's memory restoration, it happened at like a building. So so in that building, it's like kind of like I think it's a casino or something. So it's just like at the beginning of season one, he challenged the nobles by using chess game, right? In order to win money just for fun. He said he wanted to challenge people who are stronger than him, right? So now he also acts like that. He also feels that school is boring, and he wants to challenge people who are stronger than him by going to casino and playing chess and stuff, right? I think he used chess in order to challenge people. And at the casino, I think the Black Knights, some of them like they have a plan. So Karen and some of the member of the Black Knights, they carry out a plan in order to restore Lelouch's memory. So during the event, Lelouch managed to regain his memory. So I'll show you this one. So basically, Cece has to show up. And I will put this to the front so that it's easy for everyone to see. So it's basically they create some kind of like a chaos in the building in order to meet up to let CC and Lelouch meet up. And thanks to CC, Lelouch managed to retrieve his old memory back. And of course, he remembered his mother, his sister, as well as his alter identity as alter ego as Zero. And then he finally remember who he is. So there's some quote here that you can see. Uh, that's right. It wasn't me who was wrong. It's the world. So basically he finally feels something is wrong, right? And when he got his memory back, he still believed that the system his father ran was wrong, and he would destroy that system to create a better one. So he still kept that ideology. So what was actually going on was that the king wanted to capture Sisi. That's the reason why uh Lelouch was under observation in order to capture Sisi because the King Charles thought that Sisi will definitely come back to to give back the old memory to Lelouch. So she is the one that the Britannian really wants. And yes, okay. And after he got his memory back, he got to see Karen. So so this event is also important because kind of challenge Karen's faith in him. So yeah, as you can see here, she's holding a gun, right? So she was she was kind of like she was seeking an answer, right? She asked Lelouch if he used if he used the geese on her. Like, or she was wondering, was he the one who controlled her mind so that she will come and join the Black Knights because of the geese and not her own free will? And he told her that he didn't use geese to control her mind at all. So that's the important thing about Lelouch was that he did use geese to control the enemies, but he didn't use the geese to control the mind, the will of his allies. So at least he didn't use the geese to harm the people that he considered his friends or his allies. So coming to the next event, so there are a lot actually during season one and then season two, there are many good points of Lelouch as well that I didn't really have the time to mention all of that. So I will try my best to mention as many as possible. For example, he didn't consider people to be lifeless tools. Even though he did use people in his strategy, he didn't take lives for granted. So this is what I saw based on the events that happened in the episodes. So, uh, okay, so as long as the strong oppress the weak, my rebellion will continue, right? Yeah. So he came back to challenge the system with his ideology of defending the weak. as well as establishing the United States of Japan. Yes, the United States of Japan. I think the reason why he said that was because of this ideology, right? Race, ideology, and religion will not matter. Being a citizen will have but one requirement to do what is just. So to do the right thing, right? So that is him broadcasting himself after he managed to escape from the Britannian soldiers. So he finally got his zero identity back, and he declared that he will keep working on creating a free Japan. And the funny thing here is that let's get a little bit into my paragraph analysis. Although he wanted to create the USJ consisting of citizens who would do what was righteous, he himself used geese and underhanded methods to achieve that. So it's just like there are always two sides to the coin, right? So when you look at a person, maybe the first impression was that the person is very nice. But he also has another, he could have a dark side to him, right? Nobody is perfect. Sometimes you make mistakes. Sometimes you did something that wasn't very correct or very moral. But it's just like that, right? So it's the same could go for peace, right? So in order to achieve the peace that we are having right now, there were wars, there were bloodshed, and and the same goes for this. So it's the Lelouch ideology, right? He's fighting. He tries to destroy Britannia in order to create a new Japan, a new world that where people will get to do the right thing. So so there are so many questions here. So what is the right thing? What is justice, right? Who would decide what is right, what is wrong? So that we wouldn't know about that. But that is what Lelouch is trying to achieve. So even though he tried to create a world where people will do the right thing, he still used geese to control and even sacrificing some people in order to achieve that, right? Okay, so the important in the case of the loose society, geese might be necessary for him to make changes. Because in Britannian society, the strong will oppress the weak. So if uh especially when there are nightmares, right? So the strong they have too many tools and they were too privileged in the society. And the discrimination between the classes are too wide. So it's really hard to actually have like a excuse me, to have like a revolution, right? It's very hard for the weak to fight against the strong. So maybe the weak need some kind of like power, right, in order to fight for their for their life, for their living right. But but even though maybe and that power is keys, right? But the keys power is also a very debatable matter because it's like superpower, right? If you have the opportunity to use that superpower, will you be able to use it for the right thing? So I think that is also one of the lesson that can be seen through the series. So let's see. So during this event, the Black Knights still stay in Japan, but for example, Desart, Rakshata, uh, they have to run run away from Japan and stay temporarily at China, I think. They cannot stay in Japan because they are basically wanted criminal. It's very stressful. And oh, and during this event, it's kind of like very similar to the Sentoku incident. So some of the Britannian guards, they they followed Lelouch and they were about to shoot him. And at that moment, CC gave him his memory back, and he used the geese to kill them again. It's just like the first incident. And and he also ordered a Britannian guards to give him a nightmare. It's just like back then he ordered Piletta to give him the nightmare. And during that event, Viceroy Calorus was the person who took care of Area 11, but he got killed because he was the one who also tried to kill Lelouch as well. But in the end, he got killed instead. Oh wow! Now to we was time started moving again for Lelouch. So that I would like to move on to the next event, which is rescuing the members of Black Knights. Let's see. Rescuing the members of Black Knights. Okay, here you go. So we have some people from the Black Knights captured. Well, most of them, those who cannot escape. So as I mentioned before, D-Third and Rakshata managed to escape to China, right? But most of the Black Knights they got stuck and they were captured in jail. Uh, so what happened was that I think the main event of this I would like to mention was that so the Britannian people they had a plan. So one of the guard he came up with the idea was that he will use the member of the Black Knights in order to lure out Zero, right? So they will broadcast the Black Knight's execution on TV, and they say that the event will happen at a specific time and to say if Zero will show up or not. So and of course Zero would show up. Um, all right. So I'll skip these parts a little bit. Ah, okay. So basically, during this time, the Britannian people also kind of built up a relationship with the Chinese Federation. So one of the rep a representative of China, which is the uh High Eunuch, right? The High Eunuch of China to support. So so the event was that Zero kind of, I don't know when he managed to do this, but he managed to use geese on one of the High Eunuch of China to support him. So probably Lelouch ordered him to acknowledge the establishment of the United States of Japan. But however, because of that Ugnak, um, um, he agreed to zero for establishing the USJ, and because of this, his people, his guards killed him because they think that uh, the Ugnak betrayed China. But of course, Lelouch didn't expect this to happen. And so actually, before rescuing the Black Knights, Rollo already found out that Lelouch got his memory back. And Lelouch promised Rollo that if Rollo helped him to rescue the Black Knights, he would bring out CC. So the purpose of the system of Britannia was to capture CC, right? And Lelouch used that to strike a deal with Rollo. Hmm. All right. So his plan was that so when the execution was kind of broadcast, so Zero appeared in his nightmare, and he kind of challenged one of the guards to a duel just to buy some time. And while pretending to fight, he actually used the same strategy he used during the Black Rebellion. So it is to control the platforms. So as you can see here, this is the platform, right? So many people were on these platforms. That and he again used the geese on the staff who control the system of the platforms in order to kind of tilt the platform a little bit. And most of the gods on that platform kind of lost, so they kind of fell down. So because of this, he managed to rescue the Black Knights. Let's see. All right. And also, he even managed to convince Rollo to his side. How on earth could he convince Rollo to support him, right? So this is what happened. So when some of the some of the Black Knights rescue the people who were about to be executed, Lelouch got chased by Rollo. Rollo also got his own nightmare, and he was chasing after Lelouch, and Lelouch he already has everything set up, right? He he pretended to run away from Rollo, and and until they reached the right spot, he already used Geass to order one of the gunsmen to shoot a bullet towards Rollo's direction. So Rollo in that specific spot cannot avoid the bullet, and he will die if that bullet hit. But Lelouch, because he already set it up, right? He managed to save Rollo, and because of that, Rollo became indebted to Lelouch. So you kind of see the mastermind behind Lelouch's scheme, right? Not only he planned the platform strategy, he also planned how to convince, how to not even convince anymore. He's like kind of like set up in order so Rollo had no other choice but to assist him. So he pretended to save Rolo and acted like he cared about his brother, just so that he can make use of Rolo. Actually, and he he really hated Rolo because Rolo pretended to be Nunali, and you know Lelouch, right? He cared about his sister a lot. And Rolo was the one who pretended to be his sister, so he didn't really like the kid at all. So I see, in my case, I commit evil in order to destroy the greater evil. Excuse me, everyone. And so obviously in this quote, you can see that Lelouch already admitted that he is also doing evil. So those are very important parts to show that Lelouch is doing evil and he is aware that he is committing the evil actions. So in this event, some of the people got under the Geass as well. So a spy who followed Lelouch. So basically, in order to carry out the rescue plan, Lelouch had to have like a strategy to distract the spies by the spies from the Britannian system, right? Because they observe him like 24/7. So he has to have some kind of plan in order to, distract them from observing him. So that's why he used keys on some of the people. And of course, the High Eunuch of China ordered to support Zero, staff who operated the platform, and the nightmare pilot ordered to shoot Rolo. So many people got under his keys, and some also died as well. For example, the High Eunuch from China, he died because his subordinate killed him. The staff who operate the platform was ordered to commit suicide after finishing the mission. So it's kind of like cynical, right? Maybe you can use the gaze to tell the staff to just after finishing their mission, they can just live on and forget everything, right? But why? But he didn't let them live after ordering them to finish the mission, and after that they die. Which is a question, right? Why not let them live? And also there is like like a surveillance like a spying a small spying group that also they also stay in the school's basement. Their headquarters is there in order to their role is to observe and monitor Lelouch action. And Villetta and Rolo is part of that group as well. All right, so let's move on to the next event. So you can see here somebody got attended school again. I have to say, Suzuki not only attended school, it's re-attended school. Um, so during this event, I wouldn't mention too much about about Suzaku. I will mention more about Lelouch. So when the imprisoned Black Knight got rescued, They question Lelouch about his action of leaving the battle. So of course, right, it's irresponsible of him to leave during the battle. But he only said that everything is for victory over Britannia. So that is obviously a lie, right? He basically went after Nunale, went after his sister for his own goal. He didn't do it for victory over Britannia or anything. He was lying. But he got forgiven because because the Black Knight believed only him could bring the miracle. So this further implied the ideology of many people working for benefit of one. So I'll show this one. So Suzuki going back to school, right? And there's also, oops. So so the Black Knights, they asking why Zero left during the battle, and Ogi and Toto, they supported him. They said that without Zero, there will be no miracle, and Zero should be forgiven for what he did. Todo convinced that sometimes there are secrets in order to carry out a strategy. And after that, Zero got forgiven. But unlike Suzaku, Suzaku would sacrifice his life for the benefit of other people. Zero, many people will sacrifice for Zero because Zero was the one who can pull the miracle, right? That is the very big difference between them. Oh, and he also used Violetta's relationship with Olgi, a member of the Black Knight, to blackmail her into joining him. So another sinister part of him. So basically, so what's with this Violetta's relationship, right? So this is the office under the probably under the school's basement where there's cameras, right? Cameras monitoring Lelouch. Suzaku also knew about the spying group, and he also came to Rolo and Villeta to see how's the observation going, right? And Villeta, after Shirley shot her, she fell into the river and kind of got and 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 she lost her memory as well. And after that, Augie from the Black Knight, he found her. And they kind of, because she lost her memory, she didn't remember anything, and she fell in love with Augie. And but later on, she regained her memory, and sh but the problem is that she already fell in love. So even though she worked for Britannia, she doesn't like Zero. She still has feelings for Augie. And later on, Lelouch knew about Villetta and Augie relationship, and he used that in order to blackmail Villetta into supporting him. So now both Rollo and Villetta had no choice but to work together with Lelouch. You see, like Lelouch is the mastermind, and sometimes in this season he frequently manipulated people's feelings. Okay. So that is for this event. All right. Let's move on to the next one, which is convincing Nunali. So Nunali, what happened to her, right? So at the end of season one, Cece said that Nunnally got kidnapped. So it's true, but Nunnally actually was captured by the Britannian people. So King Charles now kind of made use of Nunnally, right? Because Nunnally is very important to Lelouch. So she's kind of I'm not sure if she volunteers, but but the thing is, she becomes the viceroy of Area 11. So she becomes the person who will manage the Area 11, you know? So upon knowing about this, Lelouch was Lelouch, how is he gonna feel, right? He's going to fight against his sister. So during this, one of he came up with a plan was that the Black Knights will help him to come to the ship that Nunnally is staying on in order to capture her, or maybe convince her to to join his side. But Nunnally actually wants to bring peace, and she wanted to create the special zone for Japan and Britannia, like Euphemia used to think. Okay, but but obviously Zero Zero wouldn't agree to this, right? But what will happen now? Oh, the reason he has been fighting for the reason he established the Black Knight was because of Nunnally, right? But now Nunnally said that she doesn't want war, she just wants peace, right? Then what will he do with the Black Knight? Will he continue to be Zero? So so when he came to find Nunnally on the ship, he ordered all the guards who guarded Nunnally to die in order to meet her. So he didn't hold back on using his keys to kill others, especially the Britannians. So in order to talk to Nunnally, of course, you have to take care of the guards around her, right? But maybe you can do other stuff instead of ordering them to die like that. Maybe you can just tell them to ignore what he's doing or just let him do what he wants to do, right? Yeah, you can totally do that. But but he has to order them to die. I am not sure the reason why, but I think that there are way many better ways in order to take care of the problems there. So maybe this action kind of showed that Lelouch has gotten more and more sinister. So since Nunnally said that she wanted peace, Lelouch lost his spirit and almost used refrain to forget about the present. So you remember refrain? Refrain was the drug that caused hallucination, right? Because Lelouch he couldn't stand the fact that his sister is fighting against him. He doesn't want to accept that reality, right? He almost used drug, so they are not needed anymore. Not Zero or my battle. So uh let's see. Okay. So he thought that everything is over, right? He fights. His ideology is to fight against Britannia. Maybe the truth is that he just doesn't like Britannia. He doesn't exactly fight and destroy Britannia for his sister, but probably because he just doesn't like Britannia. His sister is just like an excuse or something. It is it's kind of justified, right? Because Britannia is in a very good system. But destroying the system doesn't mean that his sister will be happy, right? However, before he used refrain, Karen interfered and she encouraged him forget about forget about his sister and fight instead of fighting for his sister only. He should fight for the liberation of Japan, right? And from that point on, he admitted that he's not fighting for just Nunnally anymore, and he had to fight against his sister. So that's like a point of change right there, a very big change in Lelouch ideology. So more and more people got under the Geass, and some didn't get, some got to survive, and some they have to kill themselves. So in season two, the use of Geass were became more frequent. I wonder if I have picture for that event. Oh, here you go. So this is Lelouch, right? He got onto the tram and he saw his sister broadcasting everywhere. And then he was afraid of that. And here's Carrot convincing him to not use refrain and join force and have the Black Knights. And here he finally got his spirit back and finally he got to support the Black Knights. So this is a huge change for Lelouch. Will he change completely or he still get affected by his sister, right? Okay, so Zero left Area 11. All right. So now his relationship with Rolo kind of he got closer to Rolo now because kind of like everything changes, right? The In season one, Lelouch really loved his sister, right? But now his sister became his opponent, and Rolo, his fake brother, became his ally. So it's kind of like funny. So, you can't predict anything in life at all, right? And I think that although Lelouch doesn't like the fact that Rolo pretends to be his sibling, but he does really care about Rolo to an extent. So they're like partners in crime right now, right? So in this event, he managed to bring 1 million people with him to live outside of Britannia. So the reason why was that he did this so he could still carry out the plan of making Japan independent while avoiding causing more trouble to Nunnally. So basically, he agreed to the plan of establishing the special zone for equal rights between Japan and Britannia, but in order to avoid causing trouble for Nunnally, he decided to leave Britannia. But of course, he didn't leave Britannia because he's losing the battle. He left Britannia so that he can, keep creating the United States of Japan and and find a way to destroy Britannia. So so one of the argument he used to show that although that uh, the most of the Japanese they have to leave Britannia and live somewhere else, they're still considered to be a nation or Japanese because so long they have the roots of their culture in their hearts, then they are Japanese no matter where they live. Yeah, so basically, he's trying to create like a nation of Japan, right? So maybe it's just a nation with a million people, but still, it's as long as you have the culture in your heart, then you're still considered to be the citizen of that country, the people of that country. So in this, I don't think I have pictures of this. No. But this is a very interesting episode, the way that Lelouch managed to use his disadvantage and turn it into an advantage. Shows that he has very high intelligence. But the problem is he also used geese a lot and become more sinister. All right, so I think this would be the last event of my sharing this time. So let's move to the capture of the Chinese princess. Okay, so even after even after the Black Knight and Zero left Britannia, they still have to deal with all sort of stuff. So you remember Prince Snizel? So Prince Nigel is also a very intelligent man, and he was the only person whose intelligence uh kind of like match with Lelouch, and slightly he has slightly better intelligence as well. And so Prince Nigel he plotted a political marriage between the Chinese princess and a Britannian prince as a gesture of friendship between two countries. But this action might put the Black Knight at the disadvantage. So the problem here is that the Black Knights they move to an island that belongs to China. So basically, they are staying over at Chinese land, right? And you have to ask them for permission to stay there. So imagine if China collaborates with Britannia, right? So there is a chance that Britannia can make use of the friendship in order to attack. They have a reason to attack the Black Knights now. Maybe taking the reason as, oh, the Black Knights, they are a threat, and now I will attack them in order to protect China, who they are building a friendship with, right? So for this, Zero planned to keep the Chinese princess as the hostage to foil their plan. So during the fight between the Black Knights and the Chinese army, so basically, so the event started that so it started at the church. Yeah, I think it's a church. So it's kind of like in the middle of the wedding, but the wedding got uh interrupted, and then Zero used that opportunity in order to take the princess hostage. And because the Black Knights ran away with the Chinese princess, the government of China had to chase after them, right? So there was a war happening between the Chinese army and the Black Knights. And there's also one thing is that Britannian they also supported China as well in order to reach their goal of eliminating the Black Knights. Unfortunately, during this event, Karen got captured. Even Zero decided to rescue her, but he failed to do it because he had to deal with too many other disadvantages. However, although he lost Karen, he managed to convince Sinke to join him. So Sinke, he was actually the one who killed the High Eunuch of China that I just mentioned in the previous event. So he was the one who he had feelings for the Chinese princess and he wanted to protect her. So during the fight, even though the Chinese princess was kept hostage, the Chinese army still wanted to fight, although the princess was captured, right? So they said that the Chinese princess wasn't important. If she died, then they would just pick someone else in order to be the the king or the empress of China. But so because of that, Britannian for some of the reason, Lelouch pulled the string. He set up so that the Britannian Prince Nigel also overhear the conversation that China didn't the China the people the high eunuchs. So basically, the high eunuchs were also kind of like corrupted. They also just want benefits. So the Prince Nigel also offered them benefits, right? So the high eunuchs, they also want that, and they just want to use the Chinese princess. They push her into the marriage in order to get more benefits from Britannian, right? So during the fight between the Chinese army and the Black Knights, they also didn't really care about the princess' safety. All they want was to, destroy the Black Knights, right? Uh, but because their dark nature was discovered by the Britannian army, Snizal refused to provide support for the army. And because of that, Lelouch was able to destroy them, right? He managed to he and Sinke, because Sinke he cared about the Chinese princess. He didn't want to join that the Ugnaughts army anymore. So, because the Chinese army losing the support from Snizel, they got they lost the battle. And thanks to that, Zero managed to convince Inge to support him. Uh, So by understanding the nature of political affairs and informations about situation inside China and Britannia, Lelouch utilized the course of events in order to gain advantages for himself. So that's also one of Lelouch intelligence, and he understand the political affairs very well and can use that to his advantage. So after rescuing the princess, um, it's like a some of the member of the Black Knights they kind of proposed that there should be another political marriage for the Chinese princess and someone else. But after asking for advice from Shirley, Lelouch remembers that he created a new word for nunnery sex. So he wants to create a new word for his sister. So he should not use his ideology in order to control people's heart. So because of that, he didn't force the Chinese princess to marry someone else for political purpose because he came to understand the power of the human's heart and passion. There's This is a great thing. So Lelouch, although he's very intelligent in a lot of aspects, but in the field of humans' feelings like love, he's not very good at it. So, so after this event, he got to understand more about the human heart. So the human heart is the source of all power. We fight with the power of our hearts, and passion have the power to change the world. So Lelouch also learned a lot of lesson during his process of making new relationships um, in order to defeat Britannia army, right? The tide of war is determined by strategy, not tactics. Yeah, so it's one of the quote, very deep quote from the Lelouch. All right, so maybe my explanation isn't very clear. So it's because I didn't really tell you guys about the context of the entire event. So each of the event actually contains a lot of episode, right? So maybe this event was like 2 to 3 episodes or something, but I just kind of condensed it into one event and I kind of skip like a lot of the details. So it's kind of hard to understand what I'm talking about. But um, but because the analysis focus on Lelouch only, so it's gonna be pretty short because most of the details I mentioned here will be focusing on Lelouch mindset and behavior, just to see how he grows. I think that my analysis still needs a lot of improvement, so please feel free to share your opinions so that I can improve better in my future analysis. So I think I will stop at this event and hopefully I will be able to wrap up season 2 in my next video. So, thank you very much for listening to my analysis, and hopefully we can see each other again soon. So, all right, have a nice day.